Humanity. So special. So unique. So mistaken. We may think we're different from other animals with our big brains, big talk, big ideas. Newsflash! Animals do a lot of the same things we do. Do they resemble us? Or do we resemble them? Decide for yourself as we take our anthropomorphic tour of animals that are almost human. Animals don't care about our expectations and don't play by our rules. They don't always play by their own rules either. Just like humans, there are social deviants in the animal kingdom. Thieves, kidnappers, and party animals. In Madagascar, a millipede innocently searches for something tasty and decaying when... And it's not the only victim. One by one, millipedes are snatched from the trees by lemurs, wide-eyed primates looking for a joyride. To dose it up, get baked, feel the rush. The lemurs seem to be druggies, and the millipedes are their speedball. One bite into the millipede's head, not to eat it, to milk it. When alarmed, millipedes secrete corrosive toxins. The chemicals are an effective repellent against enemies their own size. And that's one reason why the lemurs want them. They rub the toxins over their fur, creating a homemade mosquito repellent. Biting the millipede also means swallowing some of the toxins. The chemical spray includes alkaloids, the same group of compounds responsible for cocaine, morphine, and nicotine. And it has some similar effects. Their eyes sag. Their mouths drool. And everything gets groovy. Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, right. Lemurs. Spending time in the treetops can be risky for a slowed-down lemur. Predators abound. But that's good news for this millipede. It survives unharmed. Will the lemur? Right now, he doesn't seem to care. Lemurs aren't the only ones getting buzzed. Worker bees are on the clock. Their job is to find sugary nectar and protein-rich pollen for the hive. Sugary tree sap makes for good nectar. The sap of these lime trees, however, has fermented. Fermented sugar is nature's giggle juice, aka alcohol. Alcohol has a similar effect on bees as it does on humans. Their coordination is impacted, as is speed and sense of direction. It's also rumored that drunk bees are more likely to get a tattoo. A drunk human embarrasses their friends. A drunk bee, though, undermines the hive. If they're impaired, they're not efficient. If they're not efficient, they're not welcome. And the hive has guard bees to make sure they get the point. Yes, bees have their own DUI checkpoints and breathalyzers. Every bee entering the hive is examined. Bees with a strange scent, like one reeking of hooch, are not welcome. They are attacked until they leave or die. That's one harsh checkpoint. So let that be a lesson to all humans and bees. Don't drink and fly. The markets of Jaipur, India are under constant threat from bandits, waiting for an unsuspecting target. This gang of langur monkeys is devious, relentless, and worst of all, untouchable. Monkeys are symbols of the Hindu gods. Harming them is a religious offense. The most the fruit seller can do is shoo them away. The monkeys' biggest threat comes from each other. They form rival gangs, roaming the streets and fighting turf wars over access to the ample supply of food. As India becomes more urbanized, expect more monkey mafias. An unstoppable menace, but one that can be awfully cute. There is a new menace in the water. Not this. Or this. This. That's right, the dolphin. Specifically, the bottlenose dolphin. Dolphins are friendly creatures, a little too friendly. Like humans, dolphins have sex for reasons other than making babies. It can be used to promote social bonds between pod members, or to scare the living daylights out of anything swimming nearby. Males will even stoop to assaulting an underage female calf. Other dolphins intervene, and the calf escapes. But interest isn't limited to the opposite sex. Here, two bottlenose males harass a male spotted dolphin. Examine, if you dare, their underbellies. Their pointed curiosity in the smaller cousin isn't to make war. It's to make, well, you get the picture. Even when sex is for breeding, there's still hanky-panky. Dolphins are promiscuous. Females mate with many males to ensure the best possible match. Males wanting to limit the females' choices to themselves will kidnap females to keep them away from the competition. Some dolphins even become sex pirates. They organize into gangs of a dozen or so males and their captive harem. Then sail the high seas in search of new females to seize and plunder. Here, two males work as a team. One male guards the kidnapped female while the other male hunts. Then the two males switch roles when the other gets hungry. Not all animals are antisocial miscreants. Like humans, animals form partnerships, make friends, and take care of their families. Some are so good at what they do, humans might learn a thing or two from these animal role models. Even animal enemies can help each other. A mother screech owl returns to the nest, food and claw, for her well-fed chicks. And that's a problem. A nest filled with animal remains is a nest also filled with maggots. This is a real health risk to the chicks. So Mother Owl goes back out on the hunt, not for food, for an exterminator. Her target is a worm-like reptile called a blind snake. Several centimeters long, they're too tiny to hunt much besides insect larvae. You don't have to be as wise as an owl to see where this is going. Owls normally see snakes as food. Snakes see owls as foes. But Mother Owl resists her predatory impulses and receives something far greater in return. The blind snake gets a well-stocked larder, the owl a clean nest, and healthier chicks. It's a relationship that benefits everyone, if you're not a maggot. Some animals depend on their partners for their very survival. Meet the clownfish and the sea anemone, two friends working in harmony. A sea anemone may look like a plant, but it's an animal, a sort of upside-down starfish fixed to the ground. Its tentacles ripple invitingly in the water. Come too close and there's a surprise at the edges of the tentacles. Tiny stingers filled with paralyzing neurotoxins. Anything small and slow gets stunned, dragged, and consumed in the anemone's maw. Except for its good friend, the clownfish. Clownfish live in and around sea anemones. How? Good mucus makes good neighbors. A special layer of mucus coats their body, which renders them immune to their wriggly friend stingers. Their relationship, though, goes much further than simple neighbors. The clownfish cleans the anemone and eats harmful parasites and invertebrates. It may also lure in unsuspecting fish for the anemone to grab. The anemone, for its part, protects the clownfish from predators. And its sloppy digestive habits guarantee table scraps for the clownfish. Scientists refer to this arrangement as symbiosis. But for the world at large, it's plain to see. Best friends forever. Friends are important, and so is family. Pigeons get a bad rap. Flying rats. An urban scourge. Actually, they are urban role models for parents raising kids in the city. It starts with a courtship and a kiss. The female accepts her new beau by placing her beak inside the male's, sealing a lifelong bond, and an unbreakable one. Once committed, the male pigeon won't accept invitations from other females, even when his mate is away. Now that's loyalty. The young couple makes a small starter home in an up-and-coming neighborhood. They share the workload. The male collects the raw materials. The female arranges the nest. Then, they fill the nest with babies. 2, to be precise. And for those 2 mouths are 2 feeders. Both female and male pigeons have the remarkable ability to nurse their young. Pigeon milk is produced from regurgitated food inside a small sac near the throat called the crop. A power combination of protein and hormones, this steady stream of liquid steroids is more nutritious than cow or human milk. nutritious enough to make the chicks double in size in just 2 days, and then double again in 2 weeks. It takes little over a month for the babies to become full-grown juveniles. Thanks to their share-the-workload parents, they are soon ready to leave the nest. For larger families, look no further than the ostrich, a big bird that's into big love. The male scrapes out a nest. It's a signal for his many wives to lay their many eggs. First, the dominant female. Then the other minor hens. Around 20 eggs will be kept, mostly the dominant females, with good reason. She and the father transform from an old-fashioned family framework into a very modern-day couple juggling children and careers. The dominant female incubates the eggs by day, the father by night. For some 40 days and 40 nights, the parents take turns feeding, egg warming, and importantly, egg guarding. At 1.4 kilograms each, ostrich eggs are a solid meal for many predators. Hyenas, cheetahs, jackals, and vultures. This fine-feathered family is lucky. They avoid detection long enough for the chicks to begin to hatch. But then, a crow finds the nest. The dominant female tries to drive it away. By itself, the crow is not much of a threat. But if larger predators heard its cries, the family is in real trouble. The father rushes to her aid. The crow is unruffled. The parents must decide between staying exposed until their last few eggs hatch or leading their early birds to safety. They make their choice. The crow is left to gorge on the abandoned eggs. And 2 big birds begin raising a very big family. Although we humans may think we're the only ones worth listening to, animals also have a lot to say. And they have some very weird ways to get the word out. A horde of army ants in South America marches through the undergrowth, each one in lockstep with the rest. Ants sense their world mostly through smell and touch. They communicate the same way, with pheromones. It's a kind of weird chemically based Twitter feed. Glands excrete pheromones. Each one transmits a different message. Ants have a working vocabulary of about 15 to 20 messages. Like, food. Come help! Friendster or foe? Invaders in my space! Follow me! Ants detect the pheromone status updates with their antenna, then repost the update with their own pheromones. It's a simple social network that can move millions. With it, crazy ants orchestrate a much larger attack on a much larger army ant. Their poisonous bites paralyze her. but she's a big girl. Before crazy ant's help pheromones can attract more ants, she shakes off the poison's effects and wriggles free. Luckily for the crazy ants, a dying ant can release an alarm pheromone that could attract a swarm of angry ants racing to the scene. Linked in by pheromones, army ants can coordinate moving the next generation of eggs, build bivouacs out of their bodies to serve as temporary shelters, and annihilate everything in their path. So be careful with ants. We may have them outsized, but they have us outnumbered and out-networked. Now more talking over more distance. 3/4 of the planet is ocean. Humpback whales travel nearly all of it. They can be very social creatures. Talking to faraway friends requires a long-distance call. The whale song. While both humpback males and females vocalize, only the males sing. The simple act of vibrating air inside their large respiratory system produces a complex pattern of repeating tones, much like classically composed music. The songs may go on for some 20 minutes and be heard for up to 32 kilometers away. Whales of a particular region all sing the same song. This tune slowly evolves over time. But if they hear a new song from whales of another region, they'll switch. Humpbacks apparently are fans of musical trends. Scientists are still working out the purpose of all this crooning and caroling. During the breeding season, males sing out loud and proud. This suggests that they are advertising their fitness to attract receptive females or to warn away rival males. Songs can intimidate, songs can coordinate, and songs can simply announce a whale's presence to whomever else may be listening. Because in a very big ocean, sometimes the most important thing is to reach out and touch someone. From singing to dancing, the hive is hungry. Some 30,000 honeybees need pollen. Now, a single jar of the honey you can buy in any store requires 1 million flower visits. Scouts disperse several kilometers in each direction, searching for untapped fields. This scout makes a promising find. Pollen sacs bulge from her legs, but she can't harvest all of it herself. She needs help, lots of it. She spreads the news of her find by dancing. This waggle dance is based on a figure 8. The scout moves at an angle, waggles, reverses direction, and waggles some more. Her flower point presentation has to communicate 3 things. First, she moves at an angle. The angle indicates the direction of the flowers in relation to the sun. The hive's honeycombs are built vertically, so straight up means towards the sun, down means away from the sun, and so on. Second, distance. She waggles her abdomen rapidly. The more she waggles, the further the distance. Third, flower type. The pollen she collected provides a scent cue for the others to smell for. Her presentation is a success. Several sisters return with her to forage in the field. They in turn will bring back more pollen and spread the word. until the hive is finally full. Green-rumped parrot chicks cry out to mom. Each has its own unique call. While filming parrot nests, researchers discovered that the parrots address each chick with a unique series of notes. The chick learns the call and adopts it as its own. In other words, the parrots actually name their offspring. So animals are talkative, social, scheming, but they're no match for humanity. Or are they? The functions of some of our industries and machines are done by animals too, only better. In the hospital, in the home, on the farm, and up in the air. Agriculture is a hallmark of human ingenuity. Leafcutter ants, though, came up with it first, about 50 million years ago. From their underground complexes, they swarm out through the jungles of Central and South America. One cast of workers cut the leaves. Each cutter measures out a section with her legs, then circular saws her way through the leaf. Other ants act as quality control. They examine the leaves for harmful parasites. A large colony of leafcutters can consume over 10% of the forest's leaves each year. Enough to reshape the forest canopy around their nests. The leaves are carried back into the ant's subterranean city. Each chamber has a specific purpose, such as nurseries, trash dumps, and gardens. Another cast of gardener ants chops and chews the leaves into a mulch. The mulch feeds their single solitary crop, a fungus found only in leafcutter ant colonies. The ants farm each head of fungus, feed it, fertilize it, clean it, protect it. In return, the fungus produces nutrient-rich tips called gunglidia, which the ants use to feed their colony. The food comes pesticide-free, 100% organic, and locally produced. It seems our latest farming trends were also done first by leafcutters. After all, they've had a long time to get on the green bandwagon. Moving on, from agriculture to navigation. GPS navigation was a great invention for the directionally challenged. Pigeons, however, have built-in GPS, and it never steers them wrong. Pigeons have been observed navigating by landmarks. When released from a nearby location, pigeons take several different paths trying to find their home. Over repeated trips, their flight paths become more and more accurate as they find the most efficient visual and scent-based landmarks. But take them to a completely new location, and they still find their way home. Many animals use the sun as a compass to help them navigate. In an experiment, scientists have actually brainwashed pigeons into expecting the sun to be in a different place in the sky. Then, a test pigeon is released from a new location. Initially, the test subject follows its misaligned sun compass in the wrong direction. But after downloading the GPS data and comparing its flight path, we can see that the bird readjusts after the false start. Total time lost? A mere 10 minutes. It turns out that pigeons use several methods of getting home. visual and scent landmarks, the sun, and even the Earth's electromagnetic fields. All these systems work together to provide redundancy, so when one system isn't working, the others do, ensuring that the pigeon gets home. And all without having to listen to an annoying computerized voice. From getting around town to healing what ails you. Blood swells in this patient after an otherwise successful surgery. Blood that needs to be removed. In this state-of-the-art OR, the doctors turn to a state-of-the-art blood remover, the leech. Leeches have 3 jaws, each with 100 tiny sharp teeth. They cut a Y-shaped incision into the body. Powerful anticoagulants prevent the blood from clotting and ensure a steady stream of blood into the gut. An equally powerful anesthetic guarantees the target doesn't feel a thing. A leech can consume about 10 times its body weight. And when it's done, it just goes back in the pan. The medical industry is trying to develop a machine version of the medicinal leech. But so far, a few thousand years of human technological innovation still hasn't bested 500 million years of evolution. Another medical wonder with another amazing skill. Philippa Copleston-Warren has diabetes, and she has to monitor her blood sugar levels very carefully. A diabetic's blood sugar levels can fall suddenly and without warning. Left untreated, this can lead to serious complications like unconsciousness, seizures, and in extreme cases, even death. Philippa can monitor her blood sugar levels with a device called a glucometer. But she has a new and possibly more effective way to stay on top of her blood sugar levels. Her dog, Poppy. As with any diabetic, a dip in blood sugar levels will cause changes in breath and perspiration. And Poppy can literally sniff out those changes as they happen. Dogs have 12 times as many olfactory receptors as humans, and a third of their brain is devoted to processing smells. When Poppy smells trouble, she's been trained to nibble Philippa's fingers to alert her to the danger. Now Poppy goes wherever Philippa goes. And wherever Philippa goes, she knows she is safe, thanks to a dog with a remarkable nose. Social, talkative. Next thing you know, we'll be claiming animals are smart. Actually, that's exactly what we're claiming. With animals who can solve puzzles, be their own doctor, and even get creative. People feeling sick, go to the hospital. Animals feeling sick, go to the mud. In the mud is a clay called kaolin, aka nature's wonder drug. The clay provides trace minerals for good health. It soothes upset stomachs. And it's an antidote against the toxic alkaloids and tannins that plants produce to repel their animal foes. A bit of clay each day, and they're in tip-top shape. To run! The jaguar isn't interested in food. Clay isn't the only cure in nature's medicine cabinet. The leaves of the yage vine fulfill a similar purpose. They also come with an extra kick, chemicals that are hallucinogenic. The jaguar takes a long trip through a psychedelic jungle. just as with humans, self-medication in animals has its risks as well as its rewards. Rewards are all it takes to bring out an animal's creative side. Audiences flock to dolphin shows and are rewarded with spectacular leaps and twirls. Dolphins are rewarded with a fish. The shows are a set of routines that dolphins learn from their human trainers. But no one ever asked the dolphins for their input. Dolphins are smart, but are they creative? In the 1960s, researchers put that to the test. No new fish for old routines. Only original behaviors would be rewarded. At first, the confused dolphins repeated the old routine to no avail. But they quickly realized that what the trainers wanted were fresh ideas for fresh fish. The dolphins responded with one new movement after another. New flips, tail shakes, and rolls. Dolphins seem to have a natural creative side just waiting to be rewarded. And for some animals, creativity itself might be the reward. Check out Donnie the Doberman. There's a lot going on inside his head. He can't express it with words. So he expresses it with toys. Donnie arranges them in precise patterns. Triangles, semicircles, a group of frogs, a group of monkeys, all face up and all face down. What are the roots of this unusual behavior? His owner, Carol Young, adopted him from a shelter when he was 4 years old. Carol had to teach Donnie a lot about living in the suburbs. No one, however, taught him to arrange his toys. Here, Donnie creates a T-shape. He places a toy duck at one end, changes his mind, and puts it in the middle. There is apparently a goal in mind. Perhaps something he wants to express. Donnie made this arrangement, a teddy bear with its arm around a frog. It was the day Donnie let Carol put her arm all the way around him. Is it a calming response to traumatic past events? Just a coincidence? Or is it, in fact, art? If art is considered the creation of something that stimulates an intellectual or emotional response, then Donnie, in some ways, is an artist. Even if animals are smart and creative, can they really feel emotions the way we do? This is an elephant herd on a mission, not for food or water, for bones. The skull and tusks belong to a recently deceased member of the herd. Quiet and tense, they brush the bones with their sensitive trunks. It's one of several ritualized behaviors made by elephants encountering dead comrades. This is an elephant memorial service. Can elephants truly grieve? Consider the facts. Elephants have very large brains and a well-developed hippocampus, a part of the brain linked with memory and emotion. Elephants have even been documented experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, mostly due to the loss of family members. An elephant herd is a tightly knit group, made up of a matriarch, her close female relatives, and their calves. Herd members rely on each other to find food and water, watch for danger, and perhaps most importantly, care for the young. And when a herd member dies, its relatives may stand guard over the body for days. The loss of just one member means the loss of geographical knowledge, of parenting skills, and of parents. The young elephant caresses the bones of an older relative. Others will now teach her how to survive and how to care for her future children, but not how to remember. If animals can think, create, and feel, does this mean they have a sense of identity? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the smartest of them all? A cornerstone of intelligence is the ability to be self-aware. So in 1970, a bunch of smart, vain primates developed the mirror test to see if other animals were just as smart and just as vain. The idea being, if we recognize our mirror image as us, then we have a concept of self. This monkey perceives its image as a threatening stranger, not as itself. According to the mirror test, it just failed. It's not self-aware. But what about a chimpanzee, a creature sharing 98% of our smart, vain DNA? At first, it reacts like the monkey. Just who is this stranger? The mental leap to recognizing oneself isn't easy. Humans don't develop the ability until around 18 to 24 months, and we have parents helping us out. It takes far less time for the same ape to understand the stranger in the mirror is in fact itself. Once the chimp understands it's seeing its own image, it can perform the explorations of higher intelligence. What's the junk in my eye? Oh, there are my genitals. It was once thought that only humans and the great apes could pass the mirror test. But over time, elephants, dolphins, and even magpies have passed the mirror test. Recent studies suggest that dogs, pigs, and pigeons might also be self-aware. Perhaps one day we will discover that many birds and mammals have a sense of self, and that they are well aware what they see in the mirror is one handsome devil. Our last challenge. Are you smarter than a chimp? Try this test. Here's a tube that has a peanut at the bottom. It's too narrow to get your hand in, and you can't flip it over. So how do you get the peanut out? Watch as a chimp tackles this challenge. Here was their ingenious solution. Fill the tube up with water to make the peanut float to the top. Now, tell the truth. Would you have thought of that? Success. So, just about everything people do, animals do too. We're no longer in a special, unique category. At least we can recognize their weirdly human abilities. And that does make us pretty special.